Love, love, until I hear the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello, welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Geraldine Lee, and my guest is Bethany Tui. Welcome, Bethany.
Hi Geraldine, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show, and it's great to have a young person and to know that you've have a great faith in God. How did you come to have a faith in God?
Well, it basically derived from my family. I grew up with a very Christian-based family. All my extended family are Christian, and my mum and dad are really into their faith and really taught us from a young age to really trust in God and really believe in that. And as a family, we used to attend church every week, and we attended Mass weekly, and it was a really big part of our family growing up. So I think that's how I first really discovered my faith, and that was basically derived from my mum and dad and my family.
Oh wow! And does it go as far back as your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents, or how far back does it go?
It goes very far back, as far as we can remember. Yeah,
Wow.
It's a very big part of our family.
And so you've actually studied your family tree?
Yes, I have. Yeah, we've got a few different mixed cultures in there, and it's definitely been passed down to each family member.
Yes, and what mixed cultures do you have?
My grandfather is Burmese, so he's from Burma, and then his parents were from India. And then on the other side of my family, my dad's side of the family, they're all brought up English and Irish.
Oh wow! So there might have been maybe Buddhism in your family way back.
Absolutely.
And some maybe even some Protestants. And
Yeah.
So wow! So it's Catholicism in your family mainly?
Yes.
Oh wow! And then you were saying that your parents were very involved in the faith. What sort of ministry or what Christian faith were they, and what ministry were they doing?
Well, both my mum and my dad joined the youth mission team at a young age when they were younger, and they are really passionate about youth ministry in particular. And really, my dad actually left school and has been a youth minister all his working life. So they were very involved with that, and therefore we were really around that and really got to know the beauty of that and see the passion they had for youth ministry in that way.
So your experience of faith was quite a positive one?
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Yes. So, but did you stay with it all your life?
I did. I had this really beautiful childlike faith that was really derived from my parents when I was younger, but I started to really struggle during high school as I was around different influences, and the culture of school made me feel like my faith was, too embarrassing, to show off, and I really pulled away from my faith, particularly when I first left school, because as a dancer, I actually tried to break into the dance industry and really delve into a really big culture where I wasn't used to. And there was definitely a time when I really pulled away from my faith and didn't see that as an important part of my life.
Wow. And what sort of brought you back to the faith?
Definitely, I realised more a realisation for me. It wasn't a gradual process, but I kind of realised that I hadn't been living to my fullest potential, and I realised that I was kind of living a really empty kind of life, and I would look back at my parents and see the incredible lives they've had, and the ways God's blessed them in their lives, and I really believe that all these situations they've had and parts in their life where things have gone really well have really been derived from God. So I really pulled back and got close to my parents and just started going to church again, basically, and really looking into that, and really and it was just a beautiful experience, and I was really able to pull back and just study more and really just be comforted in the Bible and reading and really researching my faith, and that's how it really grew to have that personal encounter with God.
Yeah, was that hard? Your friends who were not of your same faith, were they trying to pull you the other way back?
Absolutely. I found that a lot, especially most of my my friends were in the entertainment industry, and there's this big culture, an idea that it's not quite interesting or cool to actually have a faith, and I did really struggle, and I really learnt that being myself was more important, and having that faith is actually a beautiful part about my life, and I felt that it actually really influenced other people to be more comfortable about their faith and really share that with me as well.
So during the time where you turned away from your faith, you felt quite a bit of emptiness.
Definitely. I not as much at the time, but as a gradual process of really pulling away, just getting busy and caught up with everyday life. I stopped kind of seeking my faith and trying to improve that and really dwell into that, and I felt that as a combination really pulled me away from living out that faith every day and really practicing that, and in not seeking God and practicing my faith, I really felt that I couldn't, it was all or nothing. I couldn't be there and have that in my life, and it was really hard. It didn't feel fulfilling, and I was drawn to many different parts of my life and different situations where I wouldn't have usually gone if I didn't have my faith with me.
That's fantastic. And has it been challenging? Like, does it mean you had to give up your dance?
No, I really believe that it's been really difficult, definitely challenging, keeping my faith as a part of my life and really showing off that and not suppressing that. But I definitely believe it's still possible, and I think pulling back and really being strong in my faith can really help me to show off that and really be open with the person I am and with my faith, and I think I can really bring that into the industry.
That's fantastic, and it's much needed, isn't it, to bring a positive. And how are your parents feeling about you using your dance to serve God?
They're really proud of that. They've always been very supportive of me in every way, but particularly they know I have this passion for dance, and they're really supportive of that, and really keen on seeing where that goes, and always interested in that with me.
On that note, we need to go for a break. You've been watching Spirit of Life. We'll be back after the break. Hello, welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Bethany Tui. Hi Bethany, welcome back.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Yes, you were talking about your conversion and how it was quite challenging sometimes to have faith and in the dance kind of work you do. How did you find that conflict with your faith at times?
I felt that it really made me stand up for my faith and really made me really challenge myself in that way. There's definitely times when I was really challenged and I really pulled away from my faith because of the distractions of the industry. At the moment, the commercial industry that I was really trying to break into has a really bad rep for Christian values and moral values even. And I felt that it really pulled me away and really made me think about what I really wanted to believe in. And it was a real challenge for me, particularly with we were encouraged to really wear really immodest clothing, and not only were we encouraged to do so, we were actually looked down upon if we couldn't keep up with those kind of moral values that you'd usually keep. As a young dancer, I really felt that to be the professional I wanted to be, I had to really conform to that and really drop anything that I ever had or believed in as a person, and really had to go along with the industry particularly. There's also a really big drugs and alcohol scene in the industry at the moment, so there's this pressure put on dancers to really get into that and to really dwell into that, and I felt really pressured as a dancer to really to let go of my faith and to really dwell in and delve into like this big industry that that isn't what us as Christians really believe. So it was like a real difficulty, going through that.
And what kind of what are there specific drugs that dancers use, and what kind of, were you doing classes at the time or doing some commercials? What kind of work were you involved in?
As dancers, we were doing quite a lot. Commercial dances, basically any commercial on TV kind of performances, and it's it's very big at the moment and very popular in Australia. To get into the commercial industry, as a whole, the industry is very sexualised at the moment. So therefore, in music videos, on stage in performances, as backup dancers, it's very encouraged to really step out in that way. And there's definitely no sense of beauty or Christianity through that at all. So particularly in music videos and in certain performances, there is this idea that you need to really wear certain things and even perform in certain ways. So it wasn't just in what we had to wear and how we had to act, but the way we danced. So it didn't really become about the dancing anymore. It became about the look and this.
Somewhat kind of dirty dancing as such?
Absolutely, yeah. And then along with that, the industry, as I mentioned before, the drugs and alcohol scene is really encouraged, and the party scene is expected among that to really be social in a real a party sense, and to really not look after your body in that way, but really exploit that use of drugs and alcohol as well.
Oh wow, because you would imagine that dancers would be very health conscious.
Yeah.
So were they into drugs to stay skinny, or more drugs like to be on a high, or downers? Was there any specific type for dancers more than others?
Well, as dancers, we're very, we work so hard and we're so passionate that there is a lot of highs and lows. And as a professional in the industry, we're very aware that you don't always get a job, and quite often you're left there working really hard but not getting anywhere. And I think that's where a lot of dancers and choreographers really turn to drugs and alcohol to really find that sense of a high and to really help themselves out of a low period.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Yes, because I remember reading some statistics that says that only 5% of those in the industry, who are professionals get jobs, so it's quite a challenge, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I don't know if statistics have improved since then when I looked into it.
I don't know. It's definitely very, very difficult to make it as a dancer.
Yes. And so how do you find that you can be a witness to your faith in kind of the dance culture?
I believe staying strong is the most important aspect of that. I really struggled at first, but I feel that since expressing and expanding that faith myself and dwelling in myself and really looking at that first, I've been able to really stand strong and just be confident in my faith and confident that God is there in that. And I really believe that this desire to be a dancer and be in the commercial industry was put on my heart by God, and I feel that with His help, I can enter this industry and can continue in this industry with God's grace and His Holy Spirit there present in my life as well.
Yes, that's great. And what aspect of God's character really attracts you?
Basically just His fatherliness and the fact that He's so willing to love us in such a casual way as well, that He doesn't just put Himself on a high and mighty stool and let us free for all and look after ourselves. He's so compassionate, and I think that's one of the most amazing things that I come to understand about our God, and I think that's really amazing to me.
That's fantastic. And do you find, because you've done some choreography work, that you have, the moves that come to your heart are kind of away more from that sexualized thing, that you find that there are more creative ways you can express your body with?
Absolutely. I think dancing doesn't have to be sexualized. I think that's just a current industry a scene that's coming out, but I really believe there is so much beauty to dancing, and it's such a great way for people to really express themselves, and a lot of people can see that.
Yes, no, that's great, because there are many moves you can make without it being, turning men or women on in a kind of lustful way. So,
Yes.
so yeah. And have you heard of the theology of the body, about the beauty of the body?
Yes, I have. I think that that was a really big part of my conversion, coming back from a long period of staying away from the church. I felt that really researching and looking into theology of the body really definitely helped me understand why. I think that's why I was really able to understand that.
Yeah, on that note, we will go for a break. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us and we'll be back after the break.
Go till I hear the breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow, blow, go till I hear the breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, and our guest is Bethany Tui. Welcome back, Bethany.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Great to have you. And I'm really interested in your dancing and how you quite love theology of the body, as we talked earlier. What interests you about theology of the body?
Particularly, I really found this was a really big part of my conversion story, really researching into that. I think what touched me the most about theology of the body was that looking at our bodies as temples of the Holy Spirit and realising that in respecting ourselves and our bodies, we are actually respecting God. And I think that really touched me the most because growing up I didn't have a lot of self-esteem, and I think that really brought me to not respect myself as much, and that came into my dancing as well, not really realising the beauty of our bodies and us as people. But then when I was able to look at that and realise that God created us and He is within us completely, I was then able to really accept that and really respect that.
Yeah, that's an important point, because sometimes you watch these movies of dancers and often they really push the body, they don't treat the body very well, and sometimes the teachers become, you see them almost with a stick kind of pushing, has that been your experience?
It definitely has, especially pushing in more into the professional industry. I came from a small studio where our principal was a Christian teacher, and we were very encouraged to really love and respect ourselves and be good dancers, but in a beautiful way. But heading into the professional industry with choreographers who wanted a certain thing from us, and that was it. It was definitely a lot harder on us, and there was that push to really not respect yourself and to really just do what you were asked and have nothing said.
Wow, so you're almost treated more like a machine rather than a human person.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and somehow they think because you're being professional you have to do that, isn't it? And that's all there is to it. Almost like a bit like modelling, isn't it, at times?
Yes, very much so.
Yes. And how do you find, like with your family, did they think, oh no, because you said your family are very spiritual people who love God. Did they discourage you being a dancer, the fact that they knew that it might be a challenge for your future?
Again, my parents have been very supportive in this whole journey. My mum actually got me into dancing at first when I was younger, and both my parents weren't dancers at all, but apparently I seem to really enjoy it and really love it. And through this whole experience, they've always been so supportive because I think they both see that this desire and this passion, it really does come from God, because it's been such a huge part of my life and has really brought me so close to God in ways as well. So they're very supportive about me wanting to become a dancer, and they're really proud that I want to follow my dreams and live my life in that way. But I know they definitely have struggled to see me push into this industry, because they know the industry is not a reputable industry at the moment, and they're very well aware of that. But again, they've been so supportive of me as a dancer, and they believe and trust me and know that this could be a really positive experience, and I could really go a long way with that. And that kind of entwines with my faith growing up, around the house at home. Like my parents have been so supportive that they never even forced it upon us either. They were spiritual, but they always gave us the option to choose, and they wanted us to really freely come to God and not feel forced to come. So particularly was
that's
that
fantastic, because sometimes parents can really be, manipulate situations, but you were saying that was a very important for them, choice, having choice.
Definitely, and that came across to all us kids a lot.
Yes, and you said that sometimes your parents would just let you all not come to church or whatever.
Yeah. Especially, for example, the sacrament of confirmation. My parents really made a big point of wanting us to know that we had the choice ourselves, and us kids we shouldn't be forced to go into the sacrament of confirmation. I remember my dad speaking to me saying, this is your choice, like if you really want to follow God in this beautiful way and you've seen how it's impacted Mum and I and the family, then we would be so excited and so happy, but we never want you to feel forced. And I think that really impacted me a lot and gave me that kind of sense of faith with God in my own way, that personal encounter, rather than my mum and just living through my mum and dad's faith. But it was a really beautiful part of my life.
So what would you say to someone who's thinking about the performing arts as a career?
Well, I definitely think it is an incredible experience. For me especially, being able to follow your dreams is the most important thing in the world, and that's been a big part of growing up for me. And I really believe that staying strong and really knowing your roots and knowing where you come from, and really just trusting God through that whole experience can really make it a really easy journey.
And what's your vision for your life in the future? What do you feel God's put on your heart?
Well, I really believe God's really called me to dance and really called me to really enter into this industry. As a dancer, I'd really love to be seen on cruise ships and overseas, particularly travelling. I think I really want to break out overseas as a dancer, basically in the commercial and the musical theatre industry. But I really believe there's this added, and it's only come up recently in the last few years, this added need and desire to really bring ministry to that, but in a minor way that no one really realises.
That's fantastic. When you say bring as ministry, do you mean to bring people around, to share God's love with people as you're doing this work?
Absolutely. I think even just getting around dancers in the industry, it might not even be completely through dance, but even just to evangelise in small ways and show off the attractiveness of living out Christian values and the beauty that is there. I believe it can really impact others.
Yes. So it's not really overtly running like a Christian dance school or something like that, but more just in your everyday life being a Christian.
And I think that was most important to me.
Yes.
When I was growing up.
Yeah. And with dancers, do you find that they have certain qualities that make them more spiritual?
Certain qualities, no, not necessarily. I think particularly for dancers, everyone's so passionate and they're not too focused on anything else other than their passion for dance. And I think, but I really believe that with not many people having these goals and spiritual direction, I think it'll be really noticeable for people, especially Christians, coming into the industry like that.
Well, that's been fantastic. On that note, we need to end, but we'd love you to come back next week.
No worries, I'd love that.
You have been watching Spirit of Life, and that's all for now. Join us again next week. Goodbye, and God bless you.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit blowing